Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of the Leftovers podcast. My name is Cooper.
I'm Riley.
I'm Paige.
Me llamo Kale.
Kale has survived the car flood, haven't you?
Yeah, that was the thing. My car still smells really bad. Because, it's all mildewy and stuff. But, if you turn on the AC for a few minutes...
Oh, it's not that bad.
It goes away. You stop noticing it, and so it's fine.
It's
fine.
Just get
used to it.
Air freshener.
Thankfully, none of the, important parts got wet, so it's,
just your
normal.
textbooks.
Just my textbooks, which is... it's fun.
How expensive were those textbooks?
Well, the one I have to replace is, $130. So
Ooh.
that's fine.
Big yike.
Ooh. Well, you're not getting that money from this show.
Oof.
Oof.
You know what?
It's too real. So, this is another fan fiction review. Last week, we decided to read some Overwatch fan fiction. And today, we're going to talk about it.
Yes.
Yes.
I'm living for it.
I'm not, because the thing I read, I didn't look at any of the tags.
Oh no, that's bad.
Or I just looked at the characters and the word count.
You fool.
That's
amateur.
Listen, that's how you get surprise impreg, okay?
That's when you get surprise anal fisting, and then you're like, this is not what I was expecting.
You gotta check for Fudanari. You gotta check.
Well, none of that. It was a surprise, to be for sure. So, I'm just gonna... The title is Best Kept Secrets, and the characters are Jesse McCree, Reaper, and you, the reader.
Alright, hold on. We need to discuss that. We need to break that apart. Why is that the one that drew you in?
Because it was the first one that showed up when I typed the word, when I sorted by word count.
Oh,
From
okay.
0 to 20K.
So this is
you
the
put
shortest
zero
one.
effort into
Yes.
this.
Literally.
Well, I did read this literally this morning because I was out of town this weekend, which is when I would normally read this. And the place I was at had no Wi-Fi and maybe a bar of 3G. I was in the middle of Arkansas.
Sure.
I mean,
so it
it's the
sounds
truth.
like a reasonable excuse.
Hey, whenever
Big
I
deal.
talked to y'all, I was on the lake. Literally on the lake.
You should have read
On the
it
lake.
on the lake romantically.
Ironically, the lake had the best Wi-Fi, or not Wi-Fi, it had the best cell signal, which is not what I was expecting, but I guess it makes sense. So, yeah. Anyways, this fan fiction, Best Kept Secrets, it made me feel uncomfortable reading it.
Did it?
Yeah, here are some of the tags before I get into the plot of this 6,000 word fan fiction. The meat. Blackmail, shameless smut, eventual fluff sex, toys, choking, masturbation, webcam, video chat, semi-sex, public, sex reader insert.
It's
Okay.
not that bad.
It's, as far as
It
fan
could be
fiction,
worse.
it's pretty tame.
Pretty tame.
It's
But-
just
well,
your
I'm...
run-of-the-mill sort of PWP.
Yeah.
What does that mean?
Porn without plot.
Okay.
He's learning the term.
I'm pretty new to this. This is probably the smuttiest fan fiction I've ever read. Then again, I haven't read that much. But the plot of this little fanfic
Yes. The plot.
is that this girl who has recently joined Blackwatch and is training.
Great.
So you're reading as a girl.
Well, it's implied, it's self-insert, but it's you rub your nipple.
Well, guys
And
can
then,
rub
and
their
then,
nipples.
and then you reach down to your cunt.
It's not implied.
Yeah.
It's out. Okay, it's outright
They
state.
have
It's reader
that.
insert, but you're a girl.
They have gender neutral reader and also male reader inserts, but those are harder to find. The most common ones are female readers.
Because of people like you that they're easy to find.
What is that? What does that mean?
Anyways, continue.
Paige is getting called out live on the podcast yet again. Well, basically, yeah, the reader is caught masturbating to pictures of Reaper
Okay, hold
while
on.
in the locker
Is
room.
this just like...
Listen, girls out there, this is not something that we do. We don't
just like-
masturbate
I
holding
figured.
images of things.
in the locker room.
That's not a thing.
In the locker room.
It doesn't happen.
I
Please.
I figured it didn't happen, but I read it anyways.
So problematic.
It was pretty problematic. And then McCree just walks in and he's like, well, hello, sweet
Well,
pay.
howdy.
And
My
holding
Huckleberry.
Huckleberry, holding his iPhone,
Yes.
recording her, and then he's like,
Oh,
I have...
As
Oh,
you
that's
do.
problematic already.
Yeah.
Okay,
That's why I
blackmail.
said-
Yeah,
Because,
yeah.
like, they don't know... Do they know each other at this point yet? Or are they just,
Well,
like...
yes.
She's new, though.
She's
right?
new, but he's, like,
Which is
training
why.
her.
It doesn't matter that if they know each other, if he just suddenly
It's
swaps
still
it and
weird.
starts
Yeah, but it's
recording.
also, like, it's, like... There's been, like... Because now in this fanfic, there's, like, the precedent set, like, that this has not happened before. This is the first occurrence.
Yeah, no.
Yeah.
Listen, the fanfic is called Best Kept Secrets, and I'll get to why it's called that. Our boy, Jesse McCree, scumbag Jesse, is like, I have this video, suck my dick, or I'll release it. So he basically
Okay.
sexually assaults this girl / the reader.
Were these in the warnings?
There were no warnings.
Oh.
Ooh.
No dubcon or anything like that?
No, I believe it said the author has chose not to put any warning tags for this fan
What was
fiction.
it? Marked E.
You gotta have some mystery in your life, Paige, okay?
Well, sometimes in like the other
It's a
tags, it
little
would be
danger.
like whatever, like reader relationship, whatever, fucking non-con.
Yeah, yeah.
Well, either I missed it or it wasn't in the tags.
I see.
So basically, the rest of the fanfic is just McCree blackmailing the reader into doing sex acts. And then at the end, there's like a gangbang where Reaper comes in, and then McCree, and that's basically it.
That's the whole thing.
That's the whole. That's the whole thing.
That's the whole thing.
It's pretty short.
Did she
I
enjoy
can only
herself?
wonder...
No, well,
Like-
not at first.
Not at
And then like McCree. So like McCree was basically conditioning her to like it, and that's the problematic part.
Well...
All of this is problematic.
I told you.
I mean, it's... Because it's like... The reader is her, right?
Yes.
And you're going into the fanfic apparently not knowing any of this.
No. Well,
Did
it's
the reader consent?
No.
no. That's why I said it was sexual
I would
assault.
I would like to know, like, all of the tags. We're going to mark that one for review.
He already went through the tags.
I went through the tags.
There were no warnings.
No warnings.
So,
I can go back, but I didn't see any
that's a
warning
certified
tags.
yike
Yeah.
from me.
Yeah.
That's a
So,
solid yikes out of 10. How would
You
you
went
rate
on the
it?
darker side.
I
I
did.
can only wonder though, like,
Did
when
it-
you started the fanfic and then you continued it.
It was
Oh,
6,000 words,
It's the
and I
shortest
needed
one.
something to talk about.
I've
Okay.
completed a lot of fan fiction where I've been like, this is horrible. And then I just been like, well, I read that. And I tell somebody about it.
Yeah. Who wants to go next?
I'll go next.
Hold on, I want to know how
Okay.
you'd rate it.
How I would rate it?
Yes,
Yes.
on writing
How
and
many,
enjoyment.
Oh, well, as far as the writing goes, there are a lot of typos. They misspelled the, and because they wrote they.
Alright, if you
And I
misspelled
know-
the, you get like a 1. Jesus.
Or no, it wasn't the, it was there, and they put they.
Oh, okay.
But they also did misspell the somewhere, because it was like TH. They forgot the E. But
not good,
I
that's bad.
rate it probably like 2 out of 10. Because it made me
2 out of
very
10.
uncomfortable. And this was the first thing I did today, was I read this fan fiction.
Fun.
So what a way to start the day by reading self-insert sexual assault fan fiction.
Would you rate the enjoyment of it?
No,
No.
it doesn't even get a rating.
Okay.
It gets a negative rating.
So, I read 2, but one was really short, so I read a second one. But I'll tell you about the first one. It's really short.
Tell us about it.
Both of them are reader inserts, alright? And the first one is called Feeding the Dragon by Dimiel?
I'm guessing this is about Genji.
It
Feeding the
is.
dragon.
Feeding the dragon.
It's Blackwatch Genji X Reader.
Of course.
I mean,
Blackwatch Genji?
Yeah. And somehow he had hurt both of his hands, even the mechanical one.
mono.
And he was having trouble eating in his hospital bed.
Mm-hmm.
Alright?
Is this like some...
that, like, he was injured and possibly required some sort of medical assistance?
I'm not gonna respond.
Maybe I don't know.
Medical assistance, he
Where are you
said.
going with this? I wonder.
But he was like, man, there's this like really hot nurse, I guess.
And then-
She's so attractive, I need to know her name. And she's like, hello, my name is Reader.
I was about to ask. You know, at first I thought you said like Rita, but in a weird southern accent.
No.
Reader.
But
Cooper.
so she feeds him, and this is when this is rated T for teen, by the way. And this is when I noticed something kind of weird.
Oh no.
I'm gonna read you a small part.
Ooh.
So it's chocolate pudding she's feeding him, alright?
Pudding.
His gaze then followed the scoop of pudding, traveling to his mouth. His mouth opened, and you slipped the spoon inside. His lips closed around the spoon, and you slid it back out. And I was like, that was oddly descriptive. that was weird. And then he gets embarrassed, and she's like, no, it's fine, you're cute. And then later, McCree shows up, and he walks up to her, and he's like, hey, the ninja didn't want me to tell you this, but he wouldn't mind returning the favor. And I was sitting there, and I was like, is this a food kink?
Hey there, sweet pea.
Well, anyway, that's how that ended. It was real short. It was nothing. It was written really well.
Food kink.
So I'd give it like a 4 out of 5 on like the well-writtenness of it.
I love how
guess.
we all have different scales.
It's fine. And the entertainment, I would give it like a 2.
Well, you didn't like reading that excerpt where
As the
Genji's
food
getting
slithered down his throat.
I was like,
the
I
chocolate
can
pudding
feel it
coated his
inside
esophagus.
Me, the milkshake in my stomach. I'm like, oh god. The second one I read is also gender neutral reader insert, even though the other one wasn't somehow.
I always wonder about these. What do they do when you get to the sex scene? Do they have to make it too vague?
They'll be really vague about it.
Yeah,
Okay.
usually.
But this one is a yandere fic, and it's
Of course.
basically a reaction to something. It's a reaction fic where somebody gives them a prompt, and they do how the characters would react. Alright? And sometimes they did it for characters multiple times, like they did a young Hanzo and a regular Hanzo or whatever. But it's a yandere fic, and basically you miss the sky, and you want to see the sky again.
Okay.
Right?
Oh, dear.
The sky.
How long has it been?
It's like you miss the sun on your skin and the sky and everything. And it ranges from stuff from like divas, where she puts you in like an MMO and like mods you up, and like you can't interact with anybody else but her in it, but you explore digital skies with her, to fucking Lucio's, to where he like drugs you and like deprives you of your senses for hours until you just miss him instead of the sun, which is really fucked up. Like,
Okay.
there's even one for Winston.
So is there like, all right, but backing up. So clearly these are like themed happenings. If Diva is a simulation.
Yeah, they're themed off the character. I'm listen,
So
when she
Lucio's
told me
theme
is
is drugs.
when she told me about the Lucio one, I was like, how does this relate to that innocent frog man?
The Lucio one ends with him saying, if you want happiness, it's him or nothing. Alright. But I was kind of confused on some of these because I couldn't tell if it was a relationship, like romantically or not, because some of them felt romantic, but other ones didn't, like Winston's. Where it's just like, he knows what it's like to miss the night sky, because he did it himself, you know, being on the moon, but he also knows from experience that you'll get over it. And I was like, what the fuck? but the one with, like, they have one for, what's his name, Torbjorn? Where it's just, like, it implies that his whole family's involved. Like, his wife cooks you meals and you're just being ungrateful.
Okay, that's a horror movie.
I know. They have a Blackwatch Genji one, and he's like, no sky, he can't stand to be seen. Better to keep you in the dark.
Okay, I have a question.
Yeah.
How many fan fictions are there that just feature specifically Blackwatch Genji?
Can you?
A lot.
I know he's well liked
A lot of Oni
among
Genji
the women.
too. A lot of Oni Genji.
Are there other instances of that where like a character's skin becomes a different
yes.
So, like,
character?
there's like Blackwatch McCree fan fiction,
There's like
it's not very
Banshee
easy.
Reyes.
and it's not that they're like.
It's not the skins, it's the
'Cause
it's the evil version,
Slasher
right?
76.
Okay.
There was also like, there's just like some fucked up stuff like May was like, you miss the sky, puts a bunch of satellite images in your room. Young Reinhardt just fucking breaks the roof and is like, now you can look up anytime you want to.
Okay, that one's kind of cute.
It was cute, except for the fact that she's trapped there.
Yes.
Oh.
And older Reinhardt paints the roof blue instead of ceiling, so you can look up at the blue ceiling. You're like, yes, the sky. Oh my god, it's amazing. Some of it's really sad. Like, oof. The one with Mercy kind of made me uncomfortable because her and Anna's, since they're medical, I guess, it kind of implied that they kept you injured a lot because you kept on trying to get away.
Oh.
So they would keep you kind of like incapacitated, you know? And Mercy's one was like, you know, if only you stopped trying to disobey her, that you would get better, you know? And like, you missed the sky. She thought about giving you the sky because she wants you to be happy. But why show you hope if she's only going to rip it away from you? So best not to show you the sky. I was like, what the fuck?
Okay.
Mercy. We're like, no mercy.
Apparently. Bastion. They did one for Bastion. They also did one for Hanzo's dad and everything.
Hanzo's
What?
dad?
Yeah, I
Hanzo's
didn't
dad,
understand
okay.
it. I'm ignoring that one. But the
They seem like
Bastion
that.
one was fucking weird in the sense of like, what's the name of his little bird? Nobody knows.
His bird?
Bastion.
Bird.
Oh, Bastion's
Guinea.
bird.
Ganymede, yeah.
He's like, he takes you outside, but unlike Ganymede, he can't trust you to not fly away, so he keeps you in a cage. I was like, how did he put you in there? Did he just like go to turret mode and was like, get in the cage, get in?
You know, it's just like Bioshock Infinite.
It is.
He's the big bird robot, and you're Elizabeth.
This wasn't poorly written though, surprisingly. I'd give it like a 3.2 out of 5.
How much did you enjoy it?
I'm gonna say it was really funny. I'm gonna give it a 4 out of 5 on enjoyment. However, I'm gonna put it down to a 3 because of Lucio's part.
Okay, yeah, I didn't like that at all.
That's problematic.
It was, oh god.
But he is a healer, so he would have the drugs.
Man, I was just like, what the fuck? That was
Where'd
mine.
they get that
I
from
don't know where they
Lucio?
got
I don't
that.
know.
Yeah, why
I don't
wasn't
know.
He
the
seems
Lucio
like
more
one of the
an easy
nicest
theme?
characters in the game.
I'm gonna hit you with
See-
these sound waves that make you see or
You're
experience the
forced to
sky.
listen to dubstep for several hours.
I feel like all the other ones was somewhat, you know, within like,
You
okay,
can
if they were
see
fucking
it.
evil, they would be like this. I guess with his, the noise canceling headphones is the only thing I can think of, but the drugging you and depriving you of all of your senses, even not to let you go to the bathroom or anything for hours.
Seems sketchy.
It was like the longest written one too.
Did they have one for Hammond?
No, they didn't have one for Hammond, Ash, or the new guy. Baptist? What is his name?
Baptiste.
Baptiste.
Yeah.
It's a shame
That
they
reminds
didn't have
me-
one for Ash.
Doomfist.
A fanfic. This is not my fanfic, but there was one I read months ago. That I was looking through. Don't judge me, but I was.
You're about to be
I
judged.
was looking through the size difference tag.
Okay.
Okay. Oh.
And there was a Reinhardt Lucio one, which this was a surprise diaper wearing Lucio.
Oh no.
And like it was like Lucio is having PTSD
Baby boy.
from like a bunch of battles that they were in, and so he's crying and like.
Should we put explicit on the title for this one?
Should we put trigger warning in the episode?
Yes.
And puts like peas in the bed. And so like Reinhardt like hears him crying. And it's like, what is wrong, Lucy? And he's crying. And like pees in the bed while they're and so Reinhardt puts him in diapers, and then like it goes on for several days that like he doesn't leave the room because he's like now some sort of like pseudo baby.
Oh, it hurts for her.
And Reinhardt's like, my sweet little frog.
I wish I could go back and
I hate Archive of Our Own.
AO3, man. Little frog.
Okay. But anyway, here's my real one. So I did one called Undercover by Lyrium Veins.
No.
Yes.
No. You know
So-
they write like fucking.
Fenris fanfiction. for
Sorry,
Dragon
it
Age.
sounds like y'all have some history with this author.
Okay. Lyrium Veins is a reference to a Dragon Age 2 character, Fenris, who had lyrium veins. He's very fan servicey. He's the like edgy elf boy.
He's the small bean.
And
okay?
they're the ones. He's the one that they write all the fanfics about, where he's like, I'm depressed and I'm alcoholic and but anyway. So mine was a coffee shop AU.
I told you not to do it, man. I told
Listen,
you.
I heard you.
But you didn't hear me.
They had this conversation before
I
the
acknowledge
podcast.
that you said that those
But you
words came
didn't
to
listen
me.
to the words.
I just decided to not really interpret that as part of like my truths. Part of my journey. I felt like
So what you're saying is you blocked out the haters.
yeah, I mean bye, right? Anyway.
You do you, man. If you want to read a coffee shop AU, embrace that
no one
basic
will
bitch.
judge you about it at all.
No, we'll judge you, but you should still do it.
So the title it's not just a coffee shop. The coffee shop is a front for
To a
like,
mafia.
for like an
brothel.
Overwatch operation.
For
Sorry,
Lucio's drug operation.
Okay, that is kind of clever.
I did because I was
see.
like I thought
Very
it was
lore
going to
friendly.
be a run of the mill coffee shop AU, but then it was kind
And
of
they
like
gotcha.
yeah, they got me. So it was like Hanzo was stationed in the coffee shop. But like, and like he didn't really know anyone else there because he was new, but he kept getting like really shitty pickup lines in. Oh wait, I should probably go. No, you'll figure it out.
We know what it is already. We already know.
Really shitty pickup lines in his coffee mugs, like written on the inside of the coffee mug.
Be my Huckleberry.
Sweet pea.
And the first one was on. It was like,
Is this
what
a
song?
McHanzo?
Yes.
McHanzo.
I never would have guessed.
Can I get a
It was like,
McHanzo?
what's on the menu? Menu.
Ugh.
And he kept getting them, but of course, like it's part of how they write him, where he's like incredibly serious and like so incredibly serious that he's like really stupid half the time. So he doesn't realize that it's McCree until like literally the end of the fanfic, after like they had already like started getting together. But like he goes around the coffee shop just like asking like random people, like, did you write this message?
You sounded like Khajiit.
Don't worry about it.
Did you write
It's
this
fine.
message?
I have the goods if you have the coin.
That's bad.
Listen, I'm okay. But they're all like, no, who's sending you messages? Who's writing these in the coffee cup? And so he keeps like pouring out the coffee because it's black coffee. And he's like, I don't like black coffee.
What is this voice you're doing?
Anyway.
I won't stand for this racism on the podcast.
McCree is like, what are you doing with that coffee? But like
Huckleberry.
So they're like on this mission and they like have to like stake out in this house.
Steak. Go on. I really want some steak.
They have to stake out in this house and they are like waiting for like hours and hours so they get to talking and you know they're like, oh, my brother. Okay, why am I doing this?
You got
why indeed?
Voices.
But they go through all their like backstory where like he's like, I killed my brother, but Genji is fine now because Zenyatta's a thing. Anyway, so they do all the feeling stuff, and then there's like a shootout with Deadlock, and they kill all of them, of course, and are completely fine. But Jack walks in and is like, you're grounded, children.
Okay.
So then they can't leave the coffee shop after they're grounded. So, like, everyone else is on missions, but they're stuck in the coffee shop. And then it was, okay, so it was weird because, like, the ending was just so, like, anticlimactic. Because it was, like, they opened up about their feelings and all this other stuff. And then it's like, with him, I have hope. And that was it.
What?
And I was like,
Hope?
this is so unsatisfying.
Hope?
How dare
for
you do
what?
this to me? It was like 40K words. So I was like,
Oh.
I was like, okay, this is leading up to something. I need to get something out of this. And then, no, and it's like, with hope. And I was like, just have another chapter. I don't see anything in italics. There's another chapter.
Was there any smut?
No. I didn't even kiss.
You were robbed.
Page, of
And I
course.
was like, I feel cheated. I can't deal with it.
You were fucking robbed.
How many hours did it take you to read this?
It wasn't that long. Okay, so I hate how much fan fiction I read, and I'm sure Paige can also attest to this.
Stop calling me out on the podcast.
We can't stop, Paige.
It's like when you read, like, a fanfic that is, like, the length of, like, the Iliad, but then you can't read anything that's, like, 100 pages or more that's, like, actual literature. And then you're like, yes, I see this 413,000 words. I can do that in a night. That seems reasonable.
You're like, I'll just... Because I don't know what it is about fan fiction, but, like, with a book, I can be like, okay, I'm done for the night, and then pick up, you know? Or I'll be like, after this chapter, I'm done.
But you're like, you always feel the compulsion to completely finish a fanfic.
It's like, even though you have to hit next chapter, it's like, I can't stop. It just keeps on going. And it's not even because I'm enjoying it more, per se. It's just, I feel like the setup, because the chapters are shorter than an actual book chapter sometimes.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's a full ass book each chapter.
Maybe it's because if you, like, were like, I'll put down this fan fiction and read it tomorrow, it would start to feel like real literature.
You're
You
right.
And
can't
you don't
do
want to,
that.
like, have it feel like you're actually...
You gotta keep that line of separation.
Also,
okay.
I don't know if you ever feel this way, but sometimes I'll be like, I was promised smut somewhere in here.
And so you have to get to it.
Yeah,
right?
and you
Like,
don't want to skip the plot because you're kind of liking the build-up,
Yeah,
you know, and
but-
you're like, I don't want to...
It's important.
And then you're just like,
I
you're kind
read
of
it
like
for the
racing
plot.
to get to the smut.
Yeah, and so you're just, like, furiously reading, and then you realize that it's, like, 4 a.m., and your phone is on, like, 6%, and you're, like, on the next to the last chapter, and you're like, where is the smut?
I had fanfic do me dirty one time where it was promising me smut, and then when it finally got to the smut part or whatever, it was just like, you got in a relationship with the guy, and I was like, yes. Where is it gonna happen? And then it was like, a lot of things happened in the past 2 weeks. You lost your virginity to him, and blah, 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 blah. And the story ended, and I was so pissed.
The off-screen sex scene. It's a plague.
Here's the thing, the author was like, if you want the sex scene, It's on my fucking, like, it's on a separate chapter on a different thing. And I went to it, and it was just so unsatisfying because it was the most realistic thing of losing somebody's virginity. It was not pleasant. She didn't have a good time. He didn't have a good time. Nobody was happy. I was like this...
And you were the least happy of all.
I was the least happy. And they were like, I wanted to make it more realistic. I was like, fuck realism. I'm reading fan fiction.
Make it fiction.
Fan fiction, guys.
Fiction.
Okay, anyway, I'll give the fanfic my rating. So, as far as writing went, it was very good. Like, probably one of the better Overwatch fanfictions I read, just in terms of just the sheer writing. So 9 out of 11 for that.
Is that your rating system?
Oh no.
But as far as enjoyment went, you know, your enjoyment is somehow, it's like contingent on whether you feel satisfied at the end. And, you know, I could say that I was up until the end, but the ending, much like Mass Effect 3's ending, ruined a lot of the rest of it for me. So I'm going to say it's
Much like
about
Mass Effect 3.
2 out of 5 for my enjoyment. You know, I was happy until I wasn't.
You have a lot of rating systems.
It's all ambiguous.
I'm gonna do out of 10 on like you fucking cowards, okay? You're all fucking
Yeah, I forgot to do my signature Coopers out of 10.
Oh, that's true.
Yeah.
It's so signature, the fact that you've only done it once.
Yeah, it's signature Coopers out
Cooper.
of 10.
Are you ready to tell us about your fan?
I'm so ready, guys.
Hell
Listen.
yeah, Ryan.
So ready.
Last week, recap, I read one about communist sands.
Toyo.
So
Suga.
I looked for something awful and I found it. So this time I was like, can I just have some joy in my life? Let me look for something not awful.
Yeah, I had the like same experience. Like I did read a fanfic for last week, but going into it, I was like, I need to find something that's good content.
Good content.
And then I was like, I did not enjoy myself. And so I was like, okay, this time, you know, I'm gonna do something I'm familiar with. Nice, easy McHanzo.
Nice, easy
Can I
coffee
get
shop
a
AU.
McHanzo?
Easily digestible.
Can I get one McHanzo?
McHanzo.
Hello, what would you like to order at this coffee shop?
McHanzo.
Did you write this message in my cup?
Will you be my huckleberry?
McHanzo.
Oh, sweet darling. Get to it.
Oh, shut the fuck up, bitch. Okay.
Yeah, just
But
jump right
I was
into
scrolling through the FF tag, as you do when you're gay.
What FF tag?
Female.
What is that?
it.
You
Female,
can search my
female.
category, you fucking idiot.
What?
What? Okay,
FF.
so
For
he doesn't know what a
relationships.
female
So
is.
if you
It's for lesbians.
No,
if you are
He doesn't know what a girl is.
a woman,
Yes.
but then
Yes.
What are you struggling with?
I don't. I'm sorry. I don't understand.
Okay, listen. Let me explain it. No,
Let's
if
get
you're
the
right.
chalkboard.
It's like how when you read The Two Boys, okay,
Okay.
there's this thing that's not a boy. It's called a girl.
Oh,
And it's
And
where
there's two of them.
there are two of them. So, like, imagine if,
Your face
you
right
know,
now.
if Hanzo were a girl,
For example, if it was
Okay.
PharaMercy,
okay.
for example.
that'd be female FF.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think
It looks
he's
like
starting
your brain
to get
is
it.
Use your-
processing this information.
Use your words.
I've never heard of such a thing. I don't.
How long will you keep this up?
Listen, I can go all day.
Okay,
Have fun.
anyways.
Just stay there.
What's a girl?
Girl.
But anyways, I was looking
F.
through the FF tag,
It's so funny.
looking for some joy in my life. Okay.
FF. That's not Final Fantasy.
Shut the fuck up.
Fan fiction. FF.
Right. Anyways. What drew... Obviously, the ship I was really looking for, now that I'm, like, ascended and have good taste, is Farah and Mercy, obviously.
PharMercy.
As you will. And what really drew me in about this one was the description. The first words are, Ancient Greek AU.
Okay, listen, that is
yes.
an attack.
Ancient Greek AU. Okay? It's basically fantasy.
Is it because of Mercy it's
It's
Greek?
probably because of the skin.
Because she has like
She has the, like, laurel.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't keep up with the skins, but, like, it's not just a gimmick, because they committed hard to the Greek thing. We need to talk about the drachmae, guys.
Drachmae.
Herodotus. Okay, it's
I'll only
like...
do it if you give me drachmae.
I was having flashbacks to when I watched you play Assassin's Creed Odyssey. Like, it was so Greek. Like, they had to put Greek vocab
You're sweet
words
like honey.
at the beginning of the chapters. And I was like, oh my god, you didn't, like, half-ass this. You slay, bitch. You didn't half-ass this. You went for it, okay?
Paige just showed... Or
Fucking slay, queen.
Paige just showed Riley the Mercy skin. The Greek Mercy skin.
It looks lit. Anyways, so I was like, okay, Greek, that's basically like fantasy, and I eat up that fantasy shit, like, give it to me, okay? So I was going into it, and I was like...
the good suck?
The good suck, that's what it is.
The good fantasies suck.
And it's, you know, it's a slow burn, it's everything that I look for.
It's a slow suck.
It's gonna bring me some joy. I didn't finish it, spoilers. I only got halfway through it, so...
That's how slow it was.
You guys are gonna be as unsatisfied as I am, having not completed it, okay?
Are you gonna finish it when we're done?
Yes.
Okay.
I mean,
That's what matters.
You think I'm not?
I didn't know how committed you were. You're genuinely
But it was really
interested.
well written.
Okay.
Okay, so... Mercy's like the Athenian doctor. She's there and she's healing the sick, curing the poor. Curing the poor, yeah.
Curing the
Of their poverty? Or...
Yes.
Poverty is a
She's
sickness.
curing them of their poverty, okay?
Okay.
She starts getting these like weird dreams that are about the canon Overwatch universe. So she's in the dreams, right? But it's all modern. It's all like the future Overwatch stuff.
Modern
And she
future.
is Farah in the dream. And she's like, oh my god, I'm fucking flying. What is this? What is this gun? And she doesn't understand the technology because it's ancient Greek, okay?
Yeah.
But it's like those foreshadowing things coming on. She's Farah, and she's like, that's my girl. She says to herself in the dream. Is that not a little weird, right?
That's my girl.
That's my girl.
I mean, wouldn't you do the same thing?
No, I'd be like, no. I would reject myself in a dream. But anyway, she's having the dreams, okay? And she gets, like, called in because she gets called in to this important, like, noble who got poisoned. So she's there, and they say his name, okay? Reinhardtos.
No.
Reinhardtos, the ancient Greek lord, commander general. Reinhardt.
I think it should be more like a... Reinhardtos.
Reinhardtos. Okay, and she's there, and she's like, oh no, this is bad. So she cures him of the poison, you know, she does, miraculously. He barely lives.
So is it, like, actually magic? Like, does she have, like, a
No,
magic staff
it's
or
like,
something?
no, they do, like, what it actually would have been.
Oh,
It's
okay,
like,
okay, so, like, actually...
we take the plants, and we
Grind them
grind
up.
them up, and we feed them the plant.
Okay.
So there's no magic, actually. So
Okay,
it's
gotcha.
more historical fiction than fantasy.
I
But
see.
I'm living with it, okay? But anyways, so she heals him. But there's some, like, chaos going on outside in Athens. And, like, their ships are burning outside. And the guards are all, like, pulled into this conflict going on. So she and Reinhardtos are left unguarded in their room, right?
Yeah.
Okay, and so an assassin is coming in, like she can hear them outside the door. Okay, so she hides under the bed. Obviously the smartest choice,
What
right?
happens to Reinhardt Toast?
He's just lying on the bed. He's still, like, recovering from the poison.
Was he like, hide under the bed?
He was like, more like... Okay, so she hides.
Freaking out in pain.
She hides under the bed, and the assassin starts walking in, and he's like, oh, what a pain, we gotta deal with this, okay? And she's like, oh god, what do? I just saved him, I can't let him die.
You can't let all that material.
Heroes never
anyways.
die. So she grabs like a scalpel she was holding. It was on the floor. She grabs it. She's like, I gotta fucking take this guy out. She's like, I can go for his Achilles tendon.
Oh god! Oh god! Oh god! Ow! Oh god!
I was like, how dare you, first of all. So she goes for his Achilles tendon. And he's like, oh! And he's like kicking at her, and then they get into
His foot's falling
yeah. They get into a bit of a scuffle, right? Bit of a thing, scuffle. But she's like, I have to kill him or I'll die. So she eventually gets a stab into his eye.
I'm just picturing Mercy doing this.
Yes,
It's
as you
kind
should.
Awesome.
I know. She's
Slay
slays.
bitch.
She has no mercy. Okay.
No mercy.
Into the eyeball, and then he's down. He's basically like, oh, but he's like, oh god, don't kill me.
You're Cyclops now, bitch.
And she has no mercy because she does kill him. She's like, and she's like injured and shit. She like
didn't need to kill him.
she not necessarily, but probably because he was still a threat. Listen, I'm gonna justify it, but okay. And she's all injured and shit and covered in blood, and she's like, oh god, I just killed a man. And Reinhardt Toast right then arises from the bed like, oh, you saved me, doctor. And she's like, it was nothing, and then she's fainting. And he goes over and catches her, okay. He's like, oh, doctor. And it's fine. It's not worse than his, like, Khajiit Japanese accent, okay? And she's all fainted and shit. And he's like, oh, let me look at the attacker. Oh, this pendant. What is this? Talon.
Talanos?
I would have laughed so hard if he was like, Talanos. So then that's when we realized, okay, there's a fantasy Greek Talon in this fanfic. Okay, I guess I'm living for it. But she's all like, she has to recover, and all the Athenians and all of the people are like, yes, you saved him. You're so cool. You saved him twice. And everyone's like praising her, and then he's like, come, doctor. Come to this democratic event. You must speak. Why are you guys laughing at that?
Nothing. Continue.
So
Your story.
It's gotta be.
he's
the
giving a
outside.
rousing speech because he's
Yes.
trying to get troops to go against Talon, right?
Mm-hmm.
And he's like, this doctor saved me. But there's like some other politician dude there who's like, we can't afford to give you these troops, Reinhardtos. And he's obviously like a bad guy in the future. He hasn't come back yet in the story, but I'm gonna assume he's a bad guy for the future.
Okay.
But anyways.
Does the bad guy have a name?
No. Well, he did, but I didn't pay attention to it.
Okay.
Something else.
Probably something os or us.
Herodotus.
Or us.
Herodotus. But anyways, and then they leave the event. As they're leaving, he's like, Doctor, you have saved me twice. You must come with me. You must come with me to gather the troops and go against the Talon. You are my lucky charm, essentially. And she's like, what? That's kind of crazy. I don't know if I can do that. Like, you're kind of asking a lot from me, Reinhardtos. But,
Do they call her Mercy or do they call her Angela?
they call her Angela, of course.
Angelos.
Angelos, no.
Angelos.
You know, I did think about it as they were calling her Angela, so I was like, that is not a Greek name at all.
No.
But anyways,
Angalia.
he's like, yes, you must come with me, I insist. And this is when Farah shows up. He's like, this will be your bodyguard. Her name is Faria. This is yours. She will guard. She's your shadow.
This is your girl.
This is your girl. Essentially, yes. And then she's like, wooed. So she's like, yes, I will go, actually. So she's like, I guess I'm gonna go across the country to fight Talon. Yay! So she's going on that adventure now. From this point on, it gets really like, like she touches her arm.
Yeah.
Farah both attack and protect.
Ooh.
But there are some specific moments I want to talk about. Okay, so at some point, Mercy's like, they're going on the caravan trip across Greece, okay? And there's some like kids in the tavern. Caravan.
Caravan.
Cavern, tavern, caravan.
They're all the same.
But they run off like the stupid little fucking kids that they are. They run into the woods, okay? And so there are some angry, like, video game wolves because they're more aggressive than real wolves. And they're gonna attack the children. And she has to go save them with only a shovel. So she's like, oh god, I'm not trained to fight. Batter out. And she's trying to go, like, poke at the wolves, be like, stay back. And she's like, run away, children.
Yeah, of course, because they're video game wolves.
Yeah, but they're like,
on the side of an armed person.
No.
Never. Why would they?
But she's so, like, shitty and untrained at battle that at this point she feels it's a good move to, like, throw her body into the wolves. I'm like, yeah, you really are shit.
Estimate.
Yes. And it's me, down there. It's like the way they described her attack. Like, she threw herself at the wolf. Like, and she's just really shitty. So obviously Farah's like, she's coming in to save her, save the day.
She's like, you fucking dumbass.
You fucking idiot. But I just wanted to talk about what a fucking idiot she is.
The protagonist always has to be a little stupid.
She's a little stupid. Just
stupid.
a little bit, But,
Let me just let these wolves eat me alive.
So they have all these Greek names, and they're introducing more and more of the Overwatch characters.
Has McCree been introduced yet?
No, Lucius. That'd be too easy, right? But they did, like, Reinhardos. But then they do Junkrat, and his name is just Junkrat. They just call him Junkrat.
Junkrat.
But it's funny because they introduce Roadhog right then, and this is can you pronounce this? This is the name.
McHanzo Rotalegios.
Wait, so it's like
Yeah, please look at it.
Roadhog, right?
Oh my god.
Macones Rotalegios.
Macones? Like Mahones?
Macones.
Rotalegios.
But just call him Roadhog.
Cooper,
That was the
you wanna
last
try?
time you ever heard that name. Yeah, read it.
Macones Rotalegios.
Yes.
Sounds like something you'd put in like spaghetti dressing, like sauce.
Can I have some Rotalegios, please?
Rotalegios.
We're gonna have Rotalegios tonight.
It sounds like legally distinct SpaghettiOs.
Oh, man.
Rotalegios.
Yeah, and they introduce, like, Jack at some point as, like, an old Roman soldier. But his name is, like, Iones Morenisus.
Okay.
I'm like, where the fuck did you get that first name? Iones. And on some level, it's really stupid, but on another level, I respect it, okay? I respect their dedication.
Is it a completed fic or is it ongoing?
I have no idea.
If it's not completed, are you gonna subscribe and get email updates?
Yes.
Do it.
Well, actually, it was last updated in 2018, so I don't know if it's,
Mine
They're still
got
working on
updated
it.
recently.
I mean, I gotta know what happens. It's all ancient
You
Greek.
can always subscribe just in case.
So, Riley, what would you rate this?
It was really well written. Like, it was, like, as well written as a fanfic on AO3 can be, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
So that's probably like a solid 8 or 9 out of 10, okay? Out of enjoyment is, I guess it's like a 7. There's one thing I wanted to call out the author for.
What's the name of
There's
the author?
been no smut up until this point, right? Okay, let me tell you the name of the... Let me credit this one so that others can read it because it's actually good, right?
I think everybody but Cooper's fic will be linked down below.
Yes.
Yeah, I enjoyed mine.
Yeah.
For the most
This
part.
one's called Messenger by 100 Handed. Look it up. But I want to call them out because there's been no smut up until this point. But every time that Farah does something, they describe her, the author's like, her rippling muscles, her glistening skin, and I'm like, you're so thirsty, like, oh my god.
Ooh.
Like, every time without fail, it would be like, and then Mercy wrapped her arms around her broad shoulders. I'm like, okay. Like, okay, I see what you like, author.
I wonder what their favorite Overwatch character is.
It could be anyone. Could be anyone.
I think it's
Ionas.
Ionis. But yeah, it was actually pretty good so far. I'll tell you if I read it to the end and I'm disappointed next episode. I'll give
Do
a
it.
brief summary. You looking through the author's works?
They have
Tell me all about it.
4 works in Overwatch and 1 in the Adventure Zone podcast.
Oh my god.
Ooh.
That's so weird. That's so
Very
random.
specific.
Maybe we should reach out to the Adventure Zone and be like, hey.
What are we gonna say? Hey, our podcast sucks. Ignore us.
Yes. Hey, we read your
Pity
fan
us.
fiction.
Every single Overwatch fanfiction they wrote was PharMercy.
Good. They're doing the Lord's work.
The Lords.
The Lord.
The Lord. Oh, ooh, Lord.
Who Lord?
I don't know, she's okay, but not loving it, you know?
Don't talk to me. Don't speak to me, you fucking McNugget ass bitch, okay?
That's offensive.
Roasted.
Oh, I like the one where it's the serious one who's like, I gave the racist accent earlier. And the pun dad one, fuck you, okay? My Huckleberry, okay. Awful. Not to call you out or anything, because I would never want to do that. I would never shame you for your shit taste.
Never.
Never.
Those are fighting words.
They
I'm
are
going to
fighting
have to
words.
ask you to raise your fists, and
I
we
can't
will
do that.
engage in battle.
Just
No.
throw yourself at him.
I'll just throw
Just
that.
like
Yeah, it'll
Mercy
work.
did.
And if it's gonna end up like how it did for her, she was almost
I don't know,
killed.
though,
So
but and you don't have a long shadow to save you.
no, sadly no. The shadow. She will be where you are. Lock door.
This podcast is getting a little violent. So what do you say we wrap this up, huh? Well, you never gave your rating, did you?
Didn't I?
No,
I
she
did.
did.
You did. What was it out of 10?
I gave it an 8 or 9 out of 10 for writing.
Decide.
7 out of 10 for enjoyment.
Decide.
8.5.
There you go.
A nice political answer. Very democratic.
Thank you.
Very-
The Greeks really liked their democracy.
They did.
The author was really sure to rub that in all the time, how much they liked their democracy.
Come to this democratic event.
I can't properly express to you how Greek it really was. Every paragraph there was some Greek vocab word.
I'm surprised this wasn't written in Greek.
I can
And
imagine
it's
because I read
and
one
why.
that was Jack the Ripper, you know.
Oh, and they did all the London
Yeah.
older.
Some of it I couldn't figure out, and I had to look it up, and it was obscure enough to where the first page of Google did not know what the fuck I was
Come
talking
on,
about.
at least this author put the vocab words
I
in
know.
the fic. Come on, gotta have common courtesy
Get in the
here.
trolley and go to 137 Bolly Chip, bruv.
I think that was racist. I think we should stop.
We should wrap this up before any more racism or violence spills. So,
The violence.
yes. What is the tag or fandom
You
for
should
next
choose
week's
this
fan
week,
fiction?
Yeah, you should choose.
Okay, alright, got it. I think we should do a high school AU for next week.
Should it be a high school AU or just a school AU? Because sometimes, like,
No,
going into
high school.
college.
No.
High school AU.
Specifically high school.
I want to be taken back to the
We need
horrible
all,
times
like,
of
the
high
drama,
school. Yeah.
You know.
The Dark Ages.
Becky.
Becky, I also thought of the name Becky.
I was
wasn't
thinking
gonna
more
say it.
Stacy.
Brad. Oh God.
That's the end of the podcast.
Okay, bye y'all.
We have decided. It's chosen. We will be doing high school AU. So stay tuned for that episode next week.
Yes, literally just like sit in front of your podcast app and just
Yes.
like, refresh until
Read
Always.
some
you
McHanzo.
see the next.
Read our fan fiction. We link down below. No.
Read some McNugget.
And while you're sitting in front of your computer screen, you should probably subscribe, maybe leave a like, maybe leave a comment, but I'm expecting all comments to be written on the same level of the average fan fiction.
If you-
Forget to
It's only
periodically
appropriate.
Wash all your cups. Wash your hands.
Shut the fuck up.
eat
If
your
you comment,
vegetables.
please comment about how shit Kale's taste is and how shit
Listen,
McNugget is.
I-
Okay.
I
No.
only read esteemed pieces of literature.
Called McHanzo.
I only read the most
Like a
seminal
coffee shop
of
AU.
works.
I think it's time we say Mick bye.
McFarewell.
Mick farewell.
Herodotus.
Herodotus.